Coming up on WFT's First at 5, changes to RTS. This time has to do with your identification. We have the details.
And new details about a high-speed chase through the streets of Gainesville. What we've learned about what started the spree of crimes.
And President Donald Trump leaves the nation in confusion after announcing his plans with Gaza. The new round of backlash he's facing from both sides of the aisle. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Regional Transit System is cracking down on rider fraud with a new ID system. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Charlize Ramos.
And I'm Juan Chaoui. RTS and city leaders are giving riders until March 1st to comply. WUFT's Alexis Vivanco is live at a bus station with how the city hopes this change will improve ridership.
JC and Charlize, I'm live from an RTS bus stop right here in the heart of the University of Florida's campus. This sign right behind me is one of the many stops that bus riders use to commute throughout their day. However, this time next month, riding the bus may look very different for some passengers. The city of Gainesville is cracking down on their fare-free program, a service that provides free rides to passengers 65 and older and 18 and younger. The new policy, which requires program-eligible riders to carry ID cards, aims to help use a limited city budget.
We want to be able to be accountable for those funds, and that this program is being utilized in the manner in which it was intended.
The Regional Transit System introduced their fare-free program in 2021 and costed $230,000 annually. In the 3 fiscal years since launch, RTS recorded more than 1.6 million trips by eligible riders. However, fraud and budget constraints were cited as some of the biggest issues facing the program, affecting riders on their daily commute.
It's like a necessary improvement for the city, since, of course, cities need funding so it can keep being like a good city, you know?
The change will be enforced starting March 1st and has riders hopeful for the future. Fare-free riders can apply for their own virtual card online on the RTS website or pick up their physical card at the RTS Administrative Headquarters. Live from the University of Florida's campus, Alexis Vivanco, WFT News.
More than 6 months after the deadly shooting, police in Ocala say they have the suspects responsible. They say last June, 24-year-old Derek Brown Jr. was shot and killed at a home on Northeast 8th Terrace. This morning, detectives announced the arrest of Blaze White, Frederick Lowe, and Zayshawn Webb. We're working to learn more of what led to the shooting.
The Columbia County Sheriff's Office says serving an eviction notice led to deputies opening fire on a suspect. Deputies responded to a home on Southwest Washington Avenue just before 11 in the Three Rivers Estates subdivision. They say the suspect was already making threats towards them. Shortly after they arrived, the report said the suspect pointed a gun at the deputies, and that's when 2 of them shot back, hitting him in the legs. The man was then flown to the hospital where he is stable. No deputies were hurt, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement was called in to investigate. And in Gainesville, we're learning more about the suspect Gainesville police said led them on a high-speed chase Tuesday that ended in a crash and the suspect hospitalized. Jessica Horde was hospitalized after investigators say she crashed into a semi-truck trying to get onto I-75 from Wilson Road Tuesday afternoon. Detectives say this all started when they saw Horde doing drugs in downtown Gainesville. When they tried to stop her, they say she stole a car, and that's when the chase started. Investigators say Horde led them through town, topping speeds of 80 miles per hour. They say she even sped through an active school zone. Horde faces a slew of charges, including drug possession and carjacking.
North Central Florida has been waking up to dense fog this week, but it quickly burns off as we warm up into the 80s. Taking a live look at Paynes Prairie from our DOT camera, it's been a beautiful day in our area. UO forecaster Matthew Clark is live in the weather studio. Matthew, we can expect to see warmer weather for the rest of the week.
Yeah, those 80s are back. It's actually the warmest day of the year so far. We finally broke 80 degrees. It's been 79 the past couple of days, but look at that. 82 degrees overlooking our campus cam. Blue skies were out overhead earlier. A couple overhead clouds right now overlooking that campus cam. Part of a system that's all the way up in the Midwest, bringing in some clouds from the Gulf. 82 degrees in Gainesville. Again, finally broke that 80. 81 in Ocala, 77 in Bronson. A little bit cooler down in Cedar Key. 72 degrees there. A little bit of coastal cooling in effect. There's that low pressure system bringing in just a few clouds, but for the most part, we're in store for a beautiful evening, and another beautiful sunset is coming up ahead, and patchy fog is going to start to form around 1 a.m. this morning. I will have that and some more in a few minutes.
Alachua County School Board is continuing their partnership with the Alachua County Sheriff's Office to provide education for students in the county jail. These services are available for minors who have not yet graduated from high school and students with disabilities under the age of 22 without a standard diploma. And the Alachua County Public School Board approved amendments to the county's book banning policy. The amendment establishes residents of the county who are not the parent or guardian of a student may not object to more than one book per month. It also clarifies the school board may reconsider banned books if it was previously banned under outdated or inappropriate policies.
Amongst the topics on the agenda for tomorrow's City Council meeting is a lawsuit as well as a new ordinance for Gainesville trash disposal. We're going to preview what attendants can expect to hear. First up is the case of Precious Brown versus the City of Gainesville. On April 1st, 2023, Brown spent 6 hours in jail accused of committing fraud at a local ATM. Her lawyer claims that the actual identity theft used the ATM shortly after Brown left the machine. Brown is now looking for $25,000 in compensation for GPD detectives failing to fully investigate. Separately, the City of Gainesville is looking for further compensation in solid waste collection fees. It would be a 20% increase in collection rates for the total estimate of $1 million a year in additional city revenue. The City Commission is slated to adopt the proposal tomorrow.
Gainesville parkgoers will be excited to hear that the Duval Nature Park is getting a fresh facelift, improving space for families and trailblazers alike. Gainesville's Wild Spaces and Public Places Department and the Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs are teaming up to add more parking, a new walking trail and playground, as well as a new stormwater safety infrastructure. Improvements are set to start on February 10th and last through the summer.
Citrus growers are pleading Florida lawmakers to support this increasingly dying orange growing industry. The industry has seen production drops more than 90% in less than 3 decades due to what is known as citrus greening disease. Florida Citrus Mutual CEO Matt Joyner appeared before the Senate Agriculture Committee this week requesting funding for research in the long-running battle against this deadly disease.
Everybody thinks of beaches and Mickey Mouse in the state of Florida, but agriculture, citrus and others, is the heart of this industry.
Florida produced 244 million boxes of oranges and 50 million boxes of grapefruit in 1998 when the industry was at its peak. That's according to the Florida Citrus Mutual. As a comparison, the USDA projected last month that Florida will produce just 12 million boxes of oranges and only 1 million boxes of grapefruit this season.
Coming up on WFT's First at 5, air traffic control sheds a light on a new Potomac plane crash last week.
New Attorney General Pam Bondi's plans as she takes up her new position. All this and more when First at 5 returns.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
President Trump shakes up Washington with a proposal to kick 2 million Palestinians out of Gaza for the U.S. to take over. His remark was met with widespread controversy. President Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his first meeting with a foreign leader since the start of his second term, to announce the Gaza Strip suggestion. Democrats are accusing President Trump of trying to distract from his efforts to shrink the federal workforce. He did not answer questions about the legality of taking over a sovereign territory.
The impact is to try to distract Americans from the real story. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are trying to seize control of the government so that they can punish their enemies and reward their friends.
Lawmakers are quick to reject Trump's idea, with senators and representatives on both sides of the aisle calling it problematic and deranged.
All 67 victims of last week's deadly plane collision have been recovered from the Potomac River near Washington, D.C., and investigators say there's new evidence that suggests the crash happened at an altitude it shouldn't have. The NTSB confirmed that air traffic control data shows that the crash happened 300 feet in the air. That's 100 feet higher than the helicopter should have been allowed to fly. Medical examiners have received the remains of the victims.
Over at the White House, Attorney General Pam Bondi was sworn in this morning. The Senate confirmed Bondi last night in a vote 54-46. The former Florida Attorney General is expected to set the tone for her term by investigating and undoing legal moves from the Biden administration. According to President Trump, she'll also be cracking down on organized crime in big cities like Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago.
I will restore integrity to the Justice Department, and I will fight violent crime throughout this country and throughout this world and make America safe again.
Bondi will defend the new Trump administration's executive orders as federal judges have already issued temporary blocks on plans to freeze federal aid and end birthright citizenship.
Back closer to home, Marion County travelers have the chance to speak with leaders on the master plans for the Ocala International Airport. The airport master plan is a long-term strategy the city is developing to increase and improve infrastructure and economic development. The meeting will be open house style, so attendants can drop in and ask questions or give their input. The meeting will be on the 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Mary Sue Rich Community Center. Floridians can now complete a free energy check courtesy of Duke Energy. Through the survey, homes and business owners can become eligible for rebate programs to support lower energy consumption. The utility company hopes to make property owners more energy conscious during this chiller winter season for the Sunshine State.
Another morning of dense fog is headed our way. I'll have exactly when we could see the densest fog here in Gainesville after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
It's Florida Severe Weather Awareness Week, and Wednesday is dedicated to tornadoes and thunderstorms.
And even though tornadoes aren't necessarily associated with Florida, it's a notable byproduct of our hurricanes. Florida ranks 5th nationally in the annual average number of tornadoes. Tornadoes can be a dangerous byproduct of hurricanes, a natural disaster Floridians know all too well. UF meteorologist William Maxim offers information on how you can stay safe during unprecedented weather.
We recommend people have multiple sources to get information for those watches and warnings. You know, that would be either to have the Florida Storms app, which can alert you when there's a warning in your area or even lightning in your area.
Maxim warns if there is a tornado in your area, know where to go. Seek shelter on the lowest floor of the building you're in and stay away from windows and doors.
Now, while it is Severe Weather Awareness Week, it's also today is National Weather Person Day, and who better to share that with than Matthew Clark. Matthew, what do you got for us today?
Well, I'm glad they have a day dedicated to us, but every day is Weather Person Day in my opinion. I just love spreading awareness and talking about the weather to the people. And speaking of awareness, it is Tornado Awareness Day with the focus of tornadoes and thunderstorms. Talk a little bit more about those tornadoes and thunderstorms. Most of those tornadoes come from our hurricanes, most notably Milton. We'll come on that in a little bit of a second. Spring and fall is our peak tornado season, and it's important to know your safe space. We don't really have basements here in Florida, so an interior wall, bathroom, that is the best place you can go during a tornado warning. Just be on the lookout. And bringing it to Milton, Major Hurricane Milton, infamous for Tampa Bay, St. Pete area, also infamous for the amount of tornado warnings in a single day. 127 is second in U.S. history to April 26th, 2011. 47 confirmed tornadoes from this storm alone with 26 fatalities. So although tornadoes aren't necessarily known for Florida, we do have some. Now, nothing going on the radar right now, so no tornado threats in our area. A couple passing by clouds for the most part. Do have a low pressure system up in the Midwest, bringing in some snow and ice to the Midwest and Chicago area. But everything down south is a lot warmer, actually above average, 5 to 10 degrees here in the Gulf states, and then even further up in the Mississippi River Valley. About 20 degrees warmer than average for this time of year. When you think February, you think cold temperatures, not warm temperatures. Look at that, 70s down in the southeast, 77 in Jackson, Mississippi. And then above that front, look at that, 37 in St. Louis, 33 in Kansas City. Ice on the roads up there. So it's a little bit of a split right now. Everything above that warm front is all cold and freezing. That system starts to move its way through and bring some really icy conditions to New York. Doesn't really impact our area that much because it starts to stall. Friday morning, another system starts to form, but then again, it stalls across the southeast, keeping us warm as we head into this weekend. And then Friday night, another system starts to develop over the Rockies, and then that system could stall as we head into next week. Maybe get a cool down as we head into Valentine's Day, but not nearly as much of a cool down as January. Campus cam, those overhead clouds looking right now, just upper level clouds, no precipitation with this. Look at that, 80 degrees though here in Gainesville. Haven't seen 80 yet this year, first day of the year. First day we've seen 80 this year, 81 in Ocala. A little bit cooler on the coastal cities. Cedar Keys seeing 71 degrees, a little bit of coastal cooling over there. The rest of the evening though, more fog coming ahead. So look at that, drops into the 50s, but then dense fog around midnight. And then as we head into tomorrow morning and into this evening, that dense fog starts to crawl in from the Gulf and then covers up us around 2 a.m. So if you're headed out late tonight, you're gonna be seeing that dense fog, but that fog is gonna clear up as we head into Thursday morning around 6 a.m. Have a nice temperatures coming up ahead. Rest of the week though, pretty standard 80 degrees across the board. Chances of rain are very minimal.
It's National Signing Day and the action is already amping up. The Gators have flipped 3-star quarterback Otis Konanbani from Tennessee. Jack Meyer will have more from Billy Napier shortly. We made our way to Buchholz to check in with the newest college football signees from Alachua County. More from Jack and the recruits when we return.
WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Hannah Mack. Happy National Women in Sports Day to all the female athletes, coaches, and industry workers in the field. Jack Meyer is live from the swamp and has the rundown on Billy Napier and the new Gator football class.
Hannah, this new group of Gators is looking as good as it gets. Today marked the conclusion of the 2025 recruiting season, and the Florida Gators have officially come away with a top 10 team in the country. After being previously ranked outside the top 50 in the nation last October, the Gators rode a late autumn surge that saw them secure the number 7 class in the country. Florida has flipped numerous highly touted recruits in the last 3 months, including 4-stars Tavares Dice, Jaden Woods, and Dallas Wilson. Today, Florida made one official final flip as 4-star cornerback and former Tennessee commit Onis Konanbani officially signed with the Gators. In his comments to media today, UF head coach Billy Napier said that he was more than pleased with how everything on the recruiting trail has turned out.
And I think that we've been able to kind of work our way through this cycle. I think we're at a place where we've got more stability. Can't compliment the organization from top to bottom. You know, I always like to say everybody, it's in everybody's job description to recruit.
Out of Florida's 32-player class, Napier said that 7 of these recruits are expected to join the team this coming summer. Reporting live from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Jack Meyer, WUFT Sports.
After a successful season and a deep run in the playoffs, the Buchholz Bobcats had 4 athletes put pen to paper and signed their letters of intent to play football at the next level. In the school's auditorium earlier this afternoon, tight end Tony Sanchez committed to North Carolina A&T. Outside linebacker R.J. Livingston committed to Minot State University in North Dakota. Jackson Islam will play tight end at St. Thomas in South Florida, and Taylor Carter will play cornerback for Tuskegee University. We spoke with Carter, who was a man of few words, about what it means to be continuing his football career at the D1 level.
It honestly felt amazing, you know, just having the opportunity. Because most people don't get to get here, and, you know, it's great.
They joined 3 other Bobcats who committed to their respective schools during the early signing day period in December. Under head coach Mark Whittemore, the Bobcats went 10-4 and made it to the Class 6A state semifinal last year, losing to Osceola High School. Switching over to the hardwood, after suffering a weekend loss to Tennessee, Gators men's basketball bounced back with a double-digit win over Vanderbilt last night. The O-Dome was electric as the fans helped will the Gators to a big win. By will, I of course mean Will Richard, who stepped up in the absence of Walter Clayton Jr., dropping in 21 points as Florida beat the Commodores 86-75. The win improves Todd Golden's team to 19-3 on the season and 6-3 in conference play. It also gives them some confidence as they get set to face Auburn Saturday, chasing a second straight win over an AP #1 team this season. As the basketball season starts to wind down, other seasons are picking up, including lacrosse. After a trip to the Final Four last year, Gator Lacrosse is back on the field Friday. The prominent website Inside Lacrosse has the Gators at number 5 in preseason rankings. Florida's team is younger this year, but picked up graduate students Jordan Basso and Jenny Marquis in the transfer portal. They also returned junior captain Teresa Bragg, who was already getting All-American buzz.
Going out, playing the best we can. I think we're a hardworking team. We always do well, looking ahead. And I think for us, it's just this first game, getting that under us and seeing where we are.
The Gators will travel to Johns Hopkins University for their first matchup on Friday morning. Another Gator experiencing a first is former Florida gymnast Trinity Thomas. Thomas is joining ESPN's NCAA gymnastics commentator team. She will make her debut this weekend. How's that for National Women in Sports Day, huh?
Yeah, no, it's big news. And also, since you mentioned it, and we're full of national days today, congrats to you too, Women in Sports Day. I mean, it counts, right? You're a sports reporter.
Oh, of course.
It counts.
It definitely counts. And as you mentioned before, JC, it is National Weather Person Day as well.
Yeah.
So Matthew, tell us what the week is going to look like.
Yeah, taking up corners of the desk out here. But yeah, the rest of the week, we're seeing 80s. It's feeling a lot like Florida again. Look at that. Thursday and Friday, you see that little white stuff underneath the sun. That is fog. Very high chance of fog as we head early into the morning. That's very dense fog as well. So if you're going out and about in the morning to your morning commute for work, be careful. Fog on the roads, a little bit of a hazard. But as we head into the weekend, though, 83 and 82 as highs. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. And then lows in the upper 50s. It's just going to be a beautiful weekend. Not really a cool down in sight, but we're feeling like Florida spring again.
While I did like the cold weather, I am glad to see that it will be getting back up into the 80s. Thank you, Matthew, and thank you all of us for joining us at home. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.